Before we jump into exercise one, I want to remind you of the big picture. You're going to be playing the role as a revenue analyst looking into the data of this hotel. And our ultimate objective is to help this hotel come up with better decisions to essentially grow the business. So the hotel has given us this accounting data. It's in this Excel tab that you see here. And I want you to imagine that this data that we see in this Excel tab is a book, okay? And within this book contains the secrets to this business's success. Everything we need to know on how to make this hotel make better decisions is within this book. Now, the problem is all the words and all of the sentences in this book are scrambled, right? When you look at this data and you read it from left to right, kind of just like scrambled code. And so as a revenue analyst, our first step in this journey towards helping this hotel make better decisions is to reorganize this book in a way where we can actually understand it. Because the decisions we're trying to make is in this data, we need to make sure that all of the data and all the information is organized and together in one place. This is the purpose behind exercise one. I want you to conceptually understand what we're trying to do, which is to organize this data in a way where we can actually understand it. Specifically, we want to determine revenue earned on these given dates. And this is going to be done by using the filter and manual add tool that I'm going to show you. Sounds good? Now, what does filter mean?
If you have a lot of things, you want to key in on certain items.
In order to hone in on these items, we're going to use the filter tool, which is essentially right here. So click that gray triangle and then click filter. Now, to find revenue earned on the specific dates, we're going to want to filter to two categories. Okay, the first category is known as room charge, and that's going to be in column D. And the second category is the specific dates, which is January 1st, and that's going to be column A. So room charge is the transaction that's going to tell us revenue earned. Okay. Now, once we have filtered to these two specific items, you're going to see that this data right here is going to shrink. Why do you think it's going to shrink?
Because we're only focusing on room charge and the specific date.
And once this data has shrunk, we're going to want to focus on column K, because column K contains the dollar amounts, which tells us revenue earned on the specific date that we have. So using the filter tool, let's try to figure out revenue earned on January 1st.
I'll first deselect everything, and then let's select room charge. And then the next one is the date.
So you always want to deselect everything before you choose the specific one you want, okay? January 1st. So if you scroll down, you'll see that our data now is only so many items, and that's because we're focusing on January 1st and room charge. Now, what is the next step?
So now I want to figure out how I can input all the amounts by totaling them up.
Right, and how do we do that?
And then I'm going to highlight all these cells and it's going to show at the bottom.
Right, so the cool thing about Excel is whatever cells that you highlight, it gives you automatically the average, the count, and the sum. And in this case, we're trying to find the sum. So it's going to be 4782.71. When you filter to the specific items, right, it's not necessarily changing the cell contents, but it's just focusing on what we want to view. So when you select something, watch, the sum of 2 and 13.5 should be 15.5, right? But now if I do a sum formula, we get 9,412 and 93 cents. Oftentimes what people would do is they would just make their formulas off of this filtered data, but filtering doesn't really change anything about the data. It just changes what we visibly see.